Welcome back to the second part of my fun with tapping. Fun things to tap, fun with tapping, tapping fun things. All of them work. What we're going to be talking about this time, last time we talked about intervals and tapping through intervals and kind of a little journey that I went down, which I wanted to share my knowledge. And what we're going to talk about this time is inversions, because I bet you that even though a lot of you know how to tap, and I guarantee you a lot of you probably think about tapping in intervals, just like I do. But I guarantee you a lot of you don't think about tapping in inversions. And you might be asking yourself, what the hell is an inversion? Well, each chord has two inversions. You have your root position, you have your first inversion, and you have your second inversion. So you might be asking yourself again, why the hell do I need to know what inversions are? That's a simple one to answer. Just because you know how to tap, that does not mean you're tapping the correct thing. Now you might be tapping in the correct chord, granted. You know, if you're tapping an A minor, A major 6, whatever you might be tapping over an A, and that's fine. But this is why you need to know the inversions. Let's say we're tapping through a passage and we have a dominant melody that we're already working with. Well, instead of going through here and, you know, if our song moves from, we'll say A minor, down to a G major, nothing wrong with that. It sounds good. The two chords pull to each other. But what if there's a melody line that we're trying to solidify on top of that? Well, in that case, we're going to want our melody line to be the note on the top. And when we jump down, of course, well, what if our melody line is based off of the third? And we have the fifth on top. That's not going to sound right. That's not going to give us that sense of melody that we're looking for. So what do we do to solve that? Well, we play the inversions. We move the note on top that we need to follow our melody line. And granted, you know, most people probably, when they tap, they probably do tap, you know, like this. And that's cool when you're soloing. And if you're just, you know, going out there and just ripping out a good passage, nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. And honestly, I love it. I do it myself. And let's just admit it, it's fun, and damn it, it just looks cool. And it sounds cool. And that's what playing the guitar is all about, looking cool and sounding cool. And I would say getting chicks, but damn it, that never works for me. Not one damn time. So it's, you know, when your rhythm guitar player is getting more girls than you are, shit, you might want to change positions and sing or play keyboards or something. I don't know. Anyway. But like I said, you know, we got a melody that we're trying to follow. So what we're going to do is we're going to play inversions so we can bring out that sense of melody. And you know, lately my tapping has changed quite a bit as I've gotten older and a much more mature guitar player. I don't, you know, just constantly just riff that stuff out. Like I showed in the last video, I have a little more sense of melody on it, you know. I'm putting a little more sense of melody into my tapping, and that just sounds fantastic. Slowing that down, letting the passage breathe a little bit, and I'm carrying that melody note. It'd help if I'd hit the right damn string, wouldn't it? And I'm carrying that melody note on top because that was the melody we were going after, a descending melody line. So with that being said, let's do some inversion stuff. So let's say we're tapping out a passage. We're going to do it in A. So let's go ahead and find our A major. We know what our root is. A. We know to put 3 between the root and the third. That gives us a major third. 2 to find our 5th. 3 empty, 2 empty, major chord. 2 empty here, 3 empty on top, minor chord. So let's say let's just do this in A major for the sake of argument. And let's say our melody line, like I said, is starting off on a third, on a major third. So we do not want this 5th on top clashing with the melody line that we're trying to achieve, which is this right here, the C sharp. So we're going to play an inversion to put this on top. This has become our root position because the root is on the bottom. Hence the name root position. So all we do to get an inversion of this is we're going to rearrange these notes. And there's only 2 other ways to rearrange it. We can put the 5th on the top, the 3rd on the top, or the root on the top. That's it. 3 notes, triad, that's it. So since we want our 3rd on the top, let's move through the positions and find out where it's at. So this is the root. We're going to go to our first inversion. And what we're going to do, we know where our 3rd is, we know where our 5th is, and as you know, and like I've said, and Lord, everybody else on YouTube has said it, 12th fret starts over, we know where our root is. Now we have our root on top. This is still an A major. We're just rearranging the order of the notes. But we need this C sharp, this 3rd on top. So we know where these positions are right here. So let's go ahead and move it again. This becomes our 5th. Now we have our root. Now we have our 3rd on top. Now, if our melody line is working off of that C sharp, we've got that on top. And we can move this anywhere we want to move it on the board as long as we use those 3 notes. A, C sharp, E. You can play it on any string in any order, and that is still an A major. And that will give you your tapping much more sense of melody. Because going back to what I was talking about in the last video with the G7, like I said, the chord we were coming off of was this. Let me mute this a little bit. And then we wanted the melody line to have that pull with the minor 3rd and the minor 7. And so what I did when I tapped that out is I went to the G major 7 to the minor 7. And since our melody line was coming off of the 7th, I had it on top. And it sounded beautiful cascading down, especially when I was moving both of them, the major and the minor, down together. So to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, we're going to take 3 chords and we'll do a G, A, B. And we're going to do a G major 7 to a A major to a B minor. Let's do that. And we need our melody chord, our melody to follow the structure we're going to outline for it. And in this case, the way we're going to do this is we're going to do a G major 7, and our melody line is going to come off the 7 here. And then our next chord is going to be an A major, and our melody line is actually going to fall onto the 5th. Then we're going to go to a B minor, and our melody line is going to fall to the 3rd. So you can hear how it's cascading down. Our melody line, which is going from here to here to here. Well, the only way we can achieve that is we have to play an inversion on that B minor. If we play the B minor in standard, now we're back to here, which is where we started, which is actually the 7th of our G, which is the 5th of the B. So if we weren't doing the inversion on the B, the melody line we would be tapping would literally be, and that's not what we want. We want it to descend. And the only way to do that is by playing the inversion of that B minor. So think about that when you're tapping out stuff, or even when you're soloing, when you're doing single note passages, And because I do that stuff all the time. I'll actually move through, and I'll solo through chords. And then I'll play them with one hand, and I'll trill really fast on them, outlining that chord. And hard to do with small hands too, dude. That's a hell of a stretch, man. So when you are doing it, think about your melody line. When you're soloing, think about where you want to go, and then think about how you're going to get there. And if you're tapping, a lot of times the best way to achieve it is through playing the inversions. And one more time, I'm going to go over this one more time real quick. We're going to do it in A. Root position. This is first position. Second position. The notes are all the same. I'm just flipping the order of them around. So I'm going to wrap this video up with that. I wanted to get through that because I see a lot of people playing and they tap a lot of the same stuff and actually tap a lot of the same style, which is another video I'm going to do. Just different ways to tap things instead of doing the arbitrary stuff that we always do. So I hope you like that. I hope you like that video, and I hope it kind of gives you an understanding of what I was talking about. Probably a little confusing on the front end. Inversions. It's really simple to understand, but finding where everything goes if you're not used to it, that's a little bit of a different thing, and it's going to put your hands in some different positions with some different spreads you're normally not used to doing. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how it works, and Lord, I hope I didn't overcomplicate that. Shit, I very well could have. But let me know what you think about it. If you have any comments, put it down in the comments section. If you have any questions, put it down in the comments section. And please subscribe. I hope you liked the video. And I'm going to do one more on tapping, and then we're all going to move on with our lives at that point. So until then, practice hard, play hard, and rock hard.